This podcast is produced in compliance with the Fair Use Act, Title 17 of the U.S. Code. Content is offered for purposes of commentary, criticism, and news reporting. Hello, and welcome. My name is Christy, and if you're finding me through Substack, this is my channel, Bumbling Buddhist. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I hope that you will find the content here helpful, and if you like what you see, I hope that you will consider liking this post and subscribing for future content. This video is going to be a little bit different. My plan was to create a post about the HR 1 bill, and as I was researching it yesterday, my plans changed. So in the space of an hour, a conservative influence was assassinated in Utah, and there was yet another school shooting in Colorado. I made the mistake of coming across the video of the incident in Utah. I figured after being a nurse as long as I have that I'd be able to handle it, and I was wrong. But yeah, it was absolutely horrific. And I spent the remainder of the day into this morning trying to process what's happening. I want to give a shout out to Reese Waters and the community over there. I'm a huge fan. But Mr. Waters was able to go live yesterday evening, and he was really a steady voice in helping us figure things out. I'm very grateful to him for coming online and to validate all of the wild emotions that we were feeling and to offer some encouragement. I hope I'm able to do the same thing here to some small degree. I'm not naive enough to believe that these tragedies are going to knock any sense into the leaders of this country. I figured there would be some accusations thrown to the right and to the left, but I really underestimated the level of responsibility or irresponsibility, if you will, that the leaders of this country and members of the media have demonstrated in the past 24 hours. There's been calls for war from conservative commentators. There were very thinly veiled threats from the President of the United States towards pretty much half of the American people. So gone are the days when we had an actual statesman as a leader. I remember when there used to be someone, after 9/11 who would represent the country as a whole and not just the people that agree with them, who would bring, you know, some calm to things. But in a way, maybe this is just what we need. And hear me out on this. Um, this is a country that has a combination of stories of heroes and stories of some really big tragedy and injustice. We're a country who began in a spirit of freedom for everyone, even and especially those who we may not agree with. The First Amendment of the Constitution is there first for a reason. And don't be fooled. This freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, assembly, this is a two-edged sword. It requires work, it requires grace, and it requires a level of maturity on a human level to be able to handle the fact that you're going to disagree with other people on some really big things. I come from a military and immigrant family. I'm married to an Air Force veteran. My father was in the Air Force. My stepdaughter is in the reserves. My son-in-law is active duty, and I'm a first generation German American. I have there is no shortage of love of country in this home, and something that I heard growing up very often: no, we don't appreciate when people burn the flag. No, we don't like it. But what we will do is defend someone's right to do it, to defend their right to be able to practice their free speech and expression as defined by the highest court in this country. I mean, that ability, I will fight like hell to defend. And, I don't like the cruel things that Charlie Kirk said. I don't like the way he spoke so hatefully about marginalized communities. And I can honestly say I probably disagree with 99% of what he said, if not more. But I'm going to continue to defend his right to say the things that he did and the rights of those who disagree with him to voice their criticism. What's being lost in all of this, even after what we saw yesterday, is that words have power. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. It doesn't mean that your words can fly without care of how it's going to affect other people's emotions and, how they're going to react to what you say. We have freedom in this country, but we have to remember that those freedoms are a huge responsibility, and that responsibility includes a mutual respect for each other, full stop. And there are ways that Mr. Kirk can be memorialized without inciting violence. There are ways to disagree with Mr. Kirk without inciting violence. As Americans, as humans, we're better than this. Um, we're better than this. And I make it no secret, I do not agree with the President of the United States. I personally believe that he knows exactly what he's doing right now when he comes before this country and offers words of anger and hate instead of words of strength and comfort, which is what he should be doing as the leader of this country as a whole. And I don't think that he has the best interests of the people of this country in mind. And evidence of that to me is the military in our streets, the fear in the eyes of our neighbors, the uncomfortable questions that are coming from our children. And I don't have the answers. I don't believe anyone does, but there is a great deal of wisdom that we can take from people who genuinely care about us on a global level. And I think that it's beyond time that we start to listen to what they have to say. As a Buddhist, one of our most prominent faith leaders is the Dalai Lama. And I recently read some of his work as it pertains to political advocacy and working toward a better and more peaceful world that actually cares about the health and survival of everyone on it. And I wanted to share a little bit of what he said. And this is from the book Mindful Politics. It's a collection of essays edited by Melvin McLeod. And I'll put information about this book in the description if you're interested. Um, First off, we are all equal, says the Dalai Lama, in seeking happiness and peace. Yet, as individuals and as nations, we value our own happiness over all others, and this is called ego in Buddhism, and it is the root of our suffering, both personal and collective. The Dalai Lama proposes a new approach to global politics based on taking responsibility, for the happiness of all people. So later in his essay, this was, I thought, the most important part, at least for what we're talking about right now. For renewal of human values and attainment of lasting happiness, we need to look to the common humanitarian heritage of all nations the world over. May this serve as an urgent reminder, lest we forget the human values that unite us all as a single family on this planet. I have written the above lines to tell my constant feeling whenever I meet even a foreigner. I have always the same feeling. I am meeting another member of the human family. This attitude has deepened my affection and respect for all beings. May this natural wish be my small contribution to world peace. I pray for a more friendly, more caring, and more understanding human family on this planet. To all who dislike suffering, who cherish lasting happiness, this is my heartful appeal. So I hope this has been of some encouragement to you. And in some way today, I hope that you find a way to help, be it a random stranger or someone that you love the most. So until next time, I honor the place in you where the universe resides. I honor the place in you of love, light, peace, and truth. I honor that place in you that is the same in me. Namaste.